So when selling to a cash buyer, one of the questions you might have after selling to a cash buyer is, how do I know I'm actually going to get the money after I sell to you? Well, number one, we do everything above board with a closing attorney or a title company. Depending on the state that you're in, we use either a title company or closing attorney or both. So that's the number one way to guarantee that you're going to get paid, is to make sure you do it legally and you do it through a closing attorney or a title company, just depending on the state that you're living in. Number two, all money is held like in an escrow account. So we don't hold the money in our personal accounts, nor do we send it to one of your accounts. It all goes to a third party, which is held at a title company or a escrow account at the closing attorney's office. So either way, both sides of both parties are protected, and you know the money's there and it's safe, right? So when selling to a cash buyer, just make sure that you don't sign something where they come into your house, the kitchen table closing, there's no attorney or no closing title involvement. You want to make sure that it's going through one of those two forms, depending on where you live. Another thing to consider when selling to a cash buyer is your plans on when you're moving out. You want to make sure you have an agreement in place to let them know that you're planning on staying in the property. If you are going to stay in the property, that's okay. Now, typically when we buy a property cash, you're going to need to be out on the closing date. So you definitely need to disclose that. We don't want any surprises, just like you don't want any surprises. So at the day of closing, we've already prearranged an agreement, which we call something like a seller holdback or a seller carryback. And what does that mean? Well, simply, let's say I'm paying $100,000 for your property, then you are going to, we're going to withhold around $5,000, maybe $10,000, somewhere in that range, from the closing until you are out by the date that you've agreed to. So let's say that you need an extra 3 weeks to move out, clean out the property, get all your belongings, and move to your next place. Then when you're out and we can confirm you're out, then the funds will be released to you. Now, we don't hold those funds. Once again, that's held at a title company or the closing attorney, depending on the state you live. If you have any other questions about what happens after selling to a cash buyer, then please reach out to us and connect with us by clicking the link below.